Okay, so the finished result will be something that looks like this. So you've got just a camera that's following a path essentially. I'll speed it up. Comes around, gets to a point here, and then you're telling it, you're animating it to turn, you're animating it where to look, and it's following the path. It's doing the path following by itself essentially, and you're just telling it where to look at various times. Okay, the camera has the ability to change its lens focal, so you can have it so it's really zoomed in or really zoomed out. I suggest that you have quite a narrow lens so that you can see a lot of your scene at the same time. So kind of have it on 15 or 20 if you want to get as much visual as possible. So the scene that is on the classroom for you it's basically this. I think when you open it, it will look something like that. Okay, so it's got no lines, no camera or anything in it. So obviously the line's been created using splines, which we've done before. So the best thing you can do is work in the top viewport. So to make yourself full screen in there, and then start far away so you can get a good kind of approaching shot to your scene when it's finished. Come around towards whatever it is. So imagine that you're probably going to have your building kind of here, and you might have a little bit of foliage or something around these parts. Just come around towards it and then zoom away. So I'll do the same as I did on that last one. So I'll come into this point there and then come out to here and then up again. So just those 5 points I put in. Then you've done this as well already. So we're going in and we're looking at making these Bezier curves as opposed to corners, which allows us to put a bit of sort of flex into it.
Are we allowed to go for like a really intricate sort of?
Yeah, you can come in and out of buildings and stuff if you want. That's fine. The whole point of you making something modular should be the fact that you're able to make more than one building out of the same pieces. That's why game studios use modular design. So yes, if you wanted to.
I was playing Borderlands 2 last night, and I found an example of modular. It was really badly done. Like there were 2 pieces that were exactly the same on top of each other, but I did notice that.
What, that they were the same building?
No, they were the same piece, like a section.
Oh, okay.
And they were put right on top of each other, which was not very good.
So I'll come into perspective so that I can see this a little clearer, and then we can see whether we're going through floors and things like that. Your approaching shot should probably start off quite high up, just coming in and looking down on it. Raise these guys off the floor slightly. Try why this one's not going.
You would have like a timer for each section. So you're slower at some parts, faster.
Yeah, you can slow it down. There we go. It's working now. Okay, something like that, and then we'll pull this final one back up again. This is actually pretty much what I did on that example. Okay, so from here, you want to find out which angle you want the camera to start at. So for me, it's going to be looking at it from this direction, which I can see over here is the back camera angle. So if I change my perspective view, right click, and then over here I can choose back, so it's looking at it straight on. That's the angle that I want the camera to point at first. So go into your cameras here, so create cameras. We're just going to use a free camera. You can use a target, which means the camera will always be looking at wherever you point the target. So wherever you move the camera, it's always going to be looking and pointing in that target. We kind of don't want that. We want to be able to kind of move around so we can look at other parts at the same time instead of always looking in one point. So for our job, we're going to use a free camera. So it's a camera without a target. Okay. So select it and just click, boom, and it places a camera in there. Then we're going to tell the camera to follow this path. Really, really simple, really easy. Have the camera selected. Then you come up to animation, tab at the top, come down to constraints, and you're going to constrain it to a path. That's it. So click, 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 choose the path, and then the camera automatically follows that path. Okay, look at it from a different angle. You can see the camera just follows the path around. Now it's your job then to animate and tell it where to be looking, because we haven't got a target on it, remember. All right. So for this, you probably want 2 screens open. Who's squeaking? Just pull. You know you can move this around, don't you? So just move this up so that you've just got 2 screens. Orthographic, right click, change that one to be the camera. So that's what the camera's looking at the moment. And then have this screen so that you can kind of direct and point it. So do perspective or something in this one. All right. Next, we're going to start with animation keys now. So you haven't done any animation yet, and this is super basic, so don't worry. So we'll start off down here. This is your animation timeline from 0 to 1,000, right? And then here, these are where you can add keyframes in. So a keyframe is a position and a direction and where a camera's looking. You're telling it at that point in time, be here looking at this thing. Essentially, that's what your keyframes are. So we turn on auto key, which means any movements that we do, Max is going to remember them. It will save them. So with auto key turned on and on frame 0, I'm going to get the camera using my move, rotate, and scale tools. Well, rotate really more than anything, to point and look where I want it to look to begin with. Maybe point it down a little bit. Okay. At this point, notice that my rotation tools are set to local, right up here. So if they're on view, they're facing the wrong way. My camera's pointing this way, but if I want to rotate it down and up, then it's not going to do it in the right direction. So make sure camera selected here to local. Now I can rotate it up and down looking at where the camera's looking. Cool. Now, when I start moving the camera along, let's say get to about here, and I want it to kind of look a little bit more around the corner. As soon as I move this to turn it, you'll notice that the little keyframe appeared there, a little green keyframe. So if I go back onto that keyframe and move it around, get it so that it's looking where I want it to, carry on, it's already starting to bend. I get to say 400, we'll rotate it even more, maybe tilt it slightly, and it remembers that as well. Remembers, comes around to this point here. Perhaps we want to get it like I did on the last one to look back on itself. So we'll turn it around. Maybe it needs a little rotation as well. Keep it steady and just check it. So you can say maybe that's a little bit too tight, or you can choose how quick that thing turns. Comes back. We'll go all the way up to the end and just rotate it slightly more down again. Cool. And that's it. Done. That's all you're expected to do for the camera fly through. Okay. Was there someone said something about slowing down? Yeah. Okay. So imagine, so you zoom in at this point here, and you want this bit to be slower, right, from here to here. So you're looking at how far along the path here. Look, how far along the path has the camera gone? So at the moment, it's done 45%. So you can keyframe that. So you can say, I'm happy to have got to there at this point. So down and up on here, notice that puts little red markers on, and it's added a keyframe in here as well. So from that point to this point here, perhaps you don't want it to have gone that far. So bring it back to where it was before. And it will slow down on that piece here now. It's starting to turn already because we told it to turn here. So we'd have to rotate it back. I think it almost comes back on itself when it hits that point now. So I've slowed it down 2 minutes. There. And then it'll carry on. Okay, so that allows you to slow down or even reverse. It's how you can do like matrix time stuff as well if you wanted to, like using that. Okay, clear? Yeah. All right, I'll put this video up online. This scene is on the classroom already for you to use if you want to practice.